Thanks for coming, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
We've got over $1 billion worth of economic activity within 25 miles of where you're standing annually because of renewable energy. Talk about the renewable fuel standards staying in place, and also who influences Senator McCain on his stand.
I think he's had that stand for so long nobody has to influence him anymore. I mean, I think if you're, I obviously disagree with him on his stand, but I think the worst thing he could do as a presidential candidate would be to change his stand if it was perceived he was doing it just to get the votes of farmers and renewable fuels people. So that would be my advice to him. My advice to him would be, if he's got this feeling about ethanol and it's related to corporate welfare, and he's got a consistent view on corporate welfare, and he considers that part of it, and he keeps attacking corporate welfare, and doesn't just emphasize ethanol, and he truly believes that there needs to be more, or I should say that there needs to be more, I guess maybe I ought to say, use the word less, be less government decision in the free market system, as you might say an ethanol tax incentive is, and a lot of other, I mean, it's not the only one. I mean, there's dozens of them in energy, and there's dozens of them elsewhere. And I think then he's got a populist view that would be understood and not be just seen as anti-ethanol.
Will he be punitive against big oil as well then?
I would hope so, but I don't know. But I don't know whether, if you were talking about, if you're talking about reducing the incentives for oil as well, but I'm not sure right now, when you want more drilling in the United States, you want to reduce those incentives.
Nor do we want to reduce renewable energy.
Yeah. Now, I think I only answered the last half of your question about McCain. What was the first half of your question?
Well, the renewable fuel standard's been attacked. Governor Perry, Texas, and a bunch of Republican senators. What's going to happen there? I know where you're at on it, but what do you think's going to happen?
With President Bush being the best friend that ethanol's ever had, I would expect him to step in and not let any change in the renewable fuel standard take place.
Now that decision is EPA.
Yeah.
Where does the Congress and Senate fit into that package?
By a 2/3 vote, I believe we could override the decision. Well, you can override it by a majority vote. And then if the president signed the override, but if the president vetoed it, which if he was in favor of it, you'd expect him to veto it. If he's not in favor of it, or nonchalant about it, you might expect him to sign it. But effectively, you got to have a 2/3 vote, because you have to assume that a regulation written in an administration, that the president would be behind it, and then Congress would overrule it, it would be vetoed. And then you'd have to override the veto, which effectively means if you don't have 2/3 vote when you start out, why do it?